Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this office hours. This is a open question and answer session, and this happens live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And so, if you're watching this on replay, just know that you can come and be here in person and be part of the live studio audience. We are here on both Instagram, the Chameleon Academy account on Instagram, and on YouTube, the Chameleon Academy live account on YouTube. And so I want to welcome everybody and just to let you know that this is the open office hours. This is where I make myself available to answer any questions. I usually am not very good at doing it on email or Instagram or Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. So this is the place to ask questions. Matthew says, book is absolutely brilliant. I'm glad you enjoy it. Matthew's talking about Tiny Dragon's book, which is now available on Amazon. Let's see. All right, let's go in and we take a look at the chat. We've got a whole lot of people here on the YouTube channel. People are noticing that I was a minute or two late today, and that is because I ran to go get the cup of power. Yes, the mushroom cup. I got it, and I've got it with me. Okay, Angela has a question. First question says, my female laid eggs a week ago today. She showed gravid colors and then they went away. I dropped heat, less food. Is she going to lay eggs again? What am I doing wrong? If your female veiled chameleon shows gravid colors, it's probably just the same hormones going through her system and she's just reacting. And so I wouldn't put too much stock into that. Hopefully she's laid all of her eggs. That's an important thing. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now, if you have reason to believe that she hasn't laid all of her eggs, then yeah, that's an issue. And the only way to really tell is to go to the vet and get an x-ray done. And unfortunately, there isn't an easier way to do it. Oh. Hello, Fleck from Northern Ireland. So, all right. All right. Let's see. Matthew, I have not seen any photo, and so I'll have to describe what's going on. All right, Matthew, have a panther chameleon that has lost weight and not eating or drinking. I think she's dying. Okay. So the question is, what do we do with a chameleon that seems to be wasting away? Their eyes are sinking in. They're not eating. They're not drinking. And veiled chameleon. Okay. And Autumn 4 is worried that yours is dying as well. All right. This is the cold hard truth is once a chameleon starts closing in on themselves, their eyes start sinking in, their eyes are closed, they're not moving, they're not eating, they're not drinking. This is the end of whatever is going on, and it's unfortunately very difficult to pull them out of this. Whatever has happened is becoming catastrophic. And whenever a chameleon closes their eyes, you know it's bad because the eyes are they're really only their defense to warn them that predators are coming. So when they close their eyes, you know it's bad. When the eyes start sinking in and they don't move, they're not responsive, that is the sign that things are really bad. And the only thing you can try to do is take your chameleon to the vet and see if your vet can figure out if there's anything possible to turn this around. This is a catastrophic moment. And so, yeah, there's nothing else you can do except go to the vet and see if there's something that can be done medically. And by medically, I mean with medicine. Here's the problem. All of the medicines are going to be put a little stress on your chameleon's body. And so the question is it going to do more? Is it going to do good before it does harm? So no good vets here in Spain that are any good. Okay, so yeah, Matthew, unfortunately, I don't have anything that can turn something like that around. And when we run into that, we know it's bad. The only thing you can do is try to figure out what happened and how they got to this point. And that's not always easy to do. So that's a tough situation. Let's see. Autumn says, I just got him. He's a panther chameleon. I've had him for 2 weeks. He's probably 3 months old. I saw him sneeze a couple of times. He has also fallen twice. He still eats and drinks. His eyes are not sinking. Okay, so Autumn, why are you thinking that he's dying? There are some warning signs there that you want to take a look at, but if he's eating, he's drinking. Now, falling, that's not normal. You may want to be looking into whether he's getting metabolic bone disease. You've had him for 2 weeks and he's probably 3 months old. Okay. Where did you get a 2.5-month-old panther chameleon? That is way too young to be going, unless, okay, there are some ambulobes that are growing so quickly that they look almost subadult by 4 months old. So I'm not going to just immediately jump to the conclusion that this was sold to you too young. It's really, the time is not as important as the size. So this may be me jumping to conclusions. So, but it's one of these things where you're going to have to go over a husbandry review and go to the breeder and say, all right, breeder, we got a problem. What do I do? And this is what you do when you have a breeder. You're able to ask them questions, especially at 2 weeks ago. So this is something where the breeder is there to hold your hand. Now, there, of course, is the problem if you just bought this chameleon at a show because it was cheap and you don't trust the breeder. It's one reason why I say everybody pay extra for the breeder you trust. So I'm not saying that's your situation, Autumn. Just generally speaking, if you price shop chameleons, you're gonna get the service that you paid for, and go with the breeder that you respect. Okay, Autumn, if you think that there's a respiratory infection, then you're going to have to go to the vet to get some antibiotics. You can, if it's just minor, it may be that you just change a little bit of the husbandry, but you've got to figure out what's wrong with the husbandry. That's where you talk with the breeder and say, help me with the husbandry. They've got a little coughs, little sniffles, little sneezes, and I'm worried. Let's do a husbandry review. And just that's what the breeder is there for, to lead you step by step through a husbandry review. Now, of course, on the Chameleon Academy, I have lots of resources as far as husbandry reviews. And so you can go through those as well if you'd like to take a shot at yourself. Cosmo the Chameleon, I may have fed my 6-month-old panther some bad crickets. Got a shipment of mostly dead ones and kept the live ones. He had some stinky poo and decreased appetite, but his symptoms now cleared. All right. Well, if there's no symptoms anymore, then you're good. Yeah, you're good. Now, usually if the cricket's alive, it's not going to be a problem. Sure, take him to the vet. Don't take him to the vet unless there's something that the vet can look at. If your chameleon has gone on and is doing okay, then he's fine. I don't. even if a cricket is on its way out because it was, unless it was poisoned, there's nothing that the chameleon itself is going to be hurt by. So, okay, let's see. Let me go to my YouTube people. So Matter C says best strategy and tips for feeding for both a chameleon that won't eat from my hand as well as one that will. But when she doesn't, I just throw the crickets in a bowl for me. Okay. Matter, what tips are you looking for? For feeding? Sounds like you've got cup feeding, you've got hand feeding. What is the problem you'd like to talk about? So, Marshan says, I think Cuervo needs reading glasses. He can pick off a dubia on the screen at 8 inches, but needs to work at it to get a super worm out of a bowl right in front of him. I tell you, I have. You get your haircut, Bill? No, I was wearing a cap all day, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I've got to get on the show," and so I just slicked it back. I have to go get a haircut. So, yeah, I've actually got a Machacos Hills Jackson's chameleon who lost his tongue somehow. I have no idea what happened, but he's not able to use his tongue. And I tell you, I try to hand feed him. He's a little nervous thing, but I try to hand feed him so he can grab it. The problem is, he'll go up and try to chomp the crickets, but his horns get in the way. So he can't go and chomp like a panther chameleon with a tongue issue could do. Oh, poor guy. So XM4. When he sleeps, he is almost white and his eyelids look almost red. Is that normal? Chameleons will have their sleep colors be different. All chameleons will have different sleep colors. Nothing about that concerns me. He's only changed 2 colors, white and black and white. Well, he is young, and so if he's young, then he's gonna have those brown, white, black type colors until he grows into his adult colors. So nothing that you're saying about his colors is concerning. Saksumungu's saying, Baby Nozabe update. I still catch him going to the bottom of the cage. He seems to be doing it only early in the morning, but is up in his branches the rest of the day. Any theory, Bill? No, Saksumungu, I'm not going to able to give you a theory. I will be able to give you 100 theories, and I just am not going to be able to tell you in your particular case why he decides to run around the bottom of the cage and then goes up to the top of the cage. It's going to be an individual thing. If he's going to the top of the cage and hanging out during the afternoon, then I don't think it's that he doesn't like his cage. Maybe he sees something across the room he's interested in. Maybe it's that time where the hormones are going and he says, okay, I want to find a female, or maybe he just wants to explore. Panther chameleons go all over the place. Well, like I said, usually they settle down in their cage. They say, I don't have to go anywhere. But just remember, in the wild, they truck around all over the place. Wonder if he's reaching sexual maturity and looking for a female. That is a possibility. It's one of many possibilities. And I experienced this, especially with Jackson's chameleons, to where my male, once he knew that there was a female, there was no cage big enough for him. He had to just run around all over the place. And after about 2 weeks, he calmed down and went back to his calm self. So these are parts of what we It's what we deal with, these guys. Mike is asking, saying, hello, everybody. I'm late. Did I miss anything good? You know what? The wonderful thing is, Mike, it's just going to continue going on. The good stuff is going to go on. Just keep the questions coming, and we will. James says, oh, man, this is the most intense 10 minutes we had to it. That's right. That's right. I let it all hang out there. All right. Nancy is saying today was the first day he actually took food right out of my hand. Congratulations. We always love that milestone. Janet saying, George, my bifidus, first for bifidus, species from Madagascar, ate a extra large grasshopper today. Literally jumped at it because his tongue couldn't draw it back. I will share the video. Pretty awesome. All right. Glad to hear that. So Nancy, that's right. We need to say hello to Nancy. Everybody say hello to Nancy on YouTube. That's the first I've seen the name. So welcome, Nancy. All right. So let's talk about the question. What happens when you're go over the question. What happens when your chameleon's tongue is injured? We know that the chameleons their tongue is very important because they use it to eat. And what happens if they can't use the tongue to eat? There's a number of things that could happen with the tongue: damage, injury, and sometimes they lose their tongue, as is the case of one of my Machacos Hills Jackson's chameleons. Something happened. Do not know what. And he's has lost the use of his tongue, and as far as I can tell, does not have a tongue to toss out. So in these cases, that is not a death blow for a chameleon, especially in captivity, because in captivity, the insects are a lot more contained, and so they will literally go after it, and they'll just grab it with their mouth. They can adjust, and when they start getting used to you, you're able to hand feed them, and they will just grab it right out of your fingers. So if your chameleon has damage to their tongue, just know it just means that you're going to be able to have to help them through life a little bit, and it's totally doable. Takes a little bit of effort on your side, but this is where you start to get an interesting relationship with the chameleon. You know me, I keep saying chameleons can't love you. They don't love you. They don't have the parts of the brain to love you. And pretty much I throw cold water on any parade saying my chameleon loves me. That said, this cold and cynical chameleon guy, I am forced to admit that when you have a special needs chameleon, they can't eat normally or they can't walk normally, there is a very unexpected relationship that's built up between you and the chameleon. The chameleon starts depending on you, and somehow they recognize that. And when I say they don't have the brain parts to love, literally, they don't have the brain parts to love. They are not pack species, so they don't have the parts of the brain that connect individuals, so they run around in groups like we do. Dogs, cats, parrots, dolphins, these all are pack animals, deer. And so they have the parts of the brain that allow them to bond with others, so they know who's in their family, who's in their pack, who can they trust, who do they rely on. Chameleons don't have that. But that being said, they will develop a special relationship with you when they rely on you. And and I fully admit there's things that we do not know. Not only do I admit it, I'm excited about it. There are things we don't know. There's so much we don't know about chameleons. And so we've got a lot ahead of us. So let's go on to YouTube and see what's going on here. James says, sounds like me, Bill. I'm special needs. Yeah, well, that's why everybody had to hand feed James at the get together, and he developed a special relationship with every one of you. Mike Davis is, oh, well, hello, Coco the Cam. Coco the Cam has shown up. Mike is saying it's that time of year here in the Pacific Northwest where praying mantises are plentiful. The excitement from some of the chameleons over to the tasty treat is cool to watch. It's a different reaction than any other feeders. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is fun. And I tell you what's kind of interesting is I've been feeding my chameleons a variety of feeders, but I haven't been feeding them the common brown cricket. That's the usual feeder. Well, today I had to substitute for the feeders that I usually get. I had to substitute for little brown crickets, and I tell you, my chameleons went nuts for those. It's, oh my gosh, this is so cool, something different. And so I was like, okay, that's, you know what? When something's new, it doesn't matter if it's common for everybody else. So, and Stephanie Payne says we fed Juice, her Parsons chameleon, a giant walking stick bug the other day. Oh yeah, they love that. Oh yeah. Miklo is saying, do panther chameleons have to be the same size to breed? No. Then the males are going to be larger than the females. So let's see. Although you want to make sure that they're like a year old at least, maybe more. So anyway. How big have babies got? Oh, Angela's talking about the little Umbanja babies. Some of them are still this small. Some of them are getting pretty, getting to that adult size. So they are growing. Nancy says, how do we tell age? Nancy, this is a thing where the actual age isn't as important as to whether they've reached sexual maturity. And that just takes knowing the species and knowing what that species looks like when it's sexually mature. Panther chameleons, the females will be able to, will have this nice pink color. And the males, of course, are obvious. You start seeing the colors come in, but every species is going to be different. All right. Loving the color red says, I have a new chameleon, 2 days. He is 2 years old. I've seen him drink, but not eat. When should I worry? A while. Yeah. It'll be a while before you should start. Say if he hasn't eaten within 1 week, then you can start being concerned. And then you got to start thinking, well, what's going on to where he's not eating? Drinking, that's a good sign. You drinking, pooping, that's a good sign. And eating's not as important, but yeah, I would expect that he would eat within 2 days, but give him a week. Give him a week. And remember, and I don't know what the history of this chameleon is, and I don't know if you do, but try different feeders. They may be used to something else. Sakashimuro says, what do you use as staple feeders? I use black crickets as a staple feeder. I use black crickets, dubias, superworms. So I get that kind of thing going. I like the black crickets because they're meatier, a lot meatier, but the place I get them at can't ship them outside of California. Ty Harv says, hi, Bill. My female panther is suffering from signs of egg binding. The vet recommended saline and calcium injections to get her strength back up. It's a good thing to go with what the vet says because the vet is going to be the one doing the hand holding during this process. When we talk about egg binding, dystocia, that is a very difficult situation because you want the female to lay naturally. If they don't lay naturally, there's a lot of real crazy mental things that can happen to your poor chameleon. I've heard some chameleons, they just kept digging holes and they wouldn't stop digging holes. It's like, it's a very strange mental state that the female chameleons get into. And disrupt that mental state at your own risk. But on the other hand, well, they're going to die if I don't get she doesn't get the eggs out. So that's where it's really important to have that vet there to handhold you and send pictures, videos, so they can know exactly what's going on, minute by minute, hour by hour. Yeah. Miklo says, got a wild caught pair. The male is 2 times bigger than the female. She has already laid eggs earlier this year. I want to pair them up again. Yep, that's what happens in the wild. The males get pretty big, and if the female has laid eggs, then she's already sexually mature. So you can get them up, put them together again. Bill just got notification on Spotify for Dr. Nash episode 4. We having a premiere in the AM. Mikey Ben. No, that was actually the okay, everybody. We have the mini Chameleon podcast done by Dr. Michael Nash coming out, and comes an episode out every Monday morning at 5 a.m. here on the YouTube channel. Mikey Ben, I didn't press the right buttons for the podcast, the RSS podcast to go out, the one you have on Spotify. And so I am catching up. That should have gone out yesterday, and it didn't. So I caught up. Nate let me know, where's the podcast? And so I very quickly found the problem, fixed it, got it out. And so that is why you're getting the notification. There will not be another episode. There will not be a meetup tomorrow morning. So I'm going to be working on next Monday. But I'm glad the notifications are working. James says, I'm on the waiting list for more black crickets. Yeah, our supplier of black crickets is, I don't know what's going on. I hope they're continuing black crickets, because I love those things. But you got to watch out. They bite. They bite. Wish I could get black crickets, but like you said, can't get. I don't understand why. Angela, it's the USDA. It's we have laws that insects can't cross state lines unless they have all sorts of permits and you got to get permits by state, and states sometimes just don't give the permits out, and they determine they don't want black crickets to get out and get into the state if they're not there already. And I don't know how we got black crickets, but we must have gotten black crickets, and so now they're here. And so now we can get them if we're in California. But yeah, it's shipping bugs is not easy. And anybody who is, you have to, like, poor Dean Missimer from Dragon Hoppers, he has to go through everything he has to go through to make sure that the roaches he's sending out, not roaches, the grasshoppers he's sending out are legal. It's like, it's a lot of work. But them's the laws. Black crickets seem hardier. Yeah, they are. They hardy, last longer, live longer. They are really awesome. Yeah. Why can't North Carolina get black crickets, Bill? I don't know, Angela. I don't know. If it were up to me, I'd make it okay, but yeah, it's the USDA, the government agencies that say, no, don't send. And really, they're not just, really their concern is you don't want bugs to be introduced, and introduced insects can just mess up an ecosystem. And so they're trying to avoid that happening. Yeah. So Mikey's saying, guess I'm having my coffee all alone in the AM. Oh man, that just breaks my heart, man. Okay, I'm gonna I got to get back in the saddle there, but I won't be able to for a while. I've been working hard on that course, and I promise you it'll be worth it. When feeding crickets, is it okay to let them in the enclosure? Meaning, like I was told not to leave live in with my beardy because they'll bite the dragon. Does that apply to chameleons? It does kind of apply to chameleons. You usually don't get crickets jumping in the branches and going after chameleons in the branches, although they can climb. So it isn't as big of a deal, but still, we don't like to have crickets and feeder insects crawling all over because then they walk through poop, and that's unsanitary. Miklo says, will your book Tiny Dragons be in the big bookstores? There's no plan for that right now. It is a possibility in the future, but I don't really know that would be a great move. It's for such a niche audience. And I mean, it's not even a regular chameleon book, it's for chameleon babies. And so it's a niche of a niche. And honestly, I am a better marketer for this book, than Barnes and Noble would be. So it is a possibility for this book to be in, say, Barnes and Noble or such, but I'm not pushing for it, and I'm not looking at doing that because I just don't see that people walking through Barnes and Noble will look at that and say, oh, wow, hey, baby chameleons. So yeah, I don't see it, but I wouldn't resist it if somebody wants to bring it in. But thing is, once you I would make right now, I make very little having it on Amazon. In a bookstore, I would make even less. So it would be completely, it wouldn't mean anything to me for it to be in a big bookstore, because what, I get $2 or something like that for every book sold. It's really, really sad how little the authors make on their own book, especially in traditional publishing. Matthew says the book is so well presented and informative, but only for chameleon lovers. Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And really, you all know, I did not write that book to make money. That's definitely not the right topic to make money. It's because that's what we needed. We needed a book that talked about the hatchling stage of chameleons, the baby stage. And so that's what I did. That's what we needed. And that's my job, is to create educational material for what we in the chameleon community need. Let's see. Sakshamungru says, I have a theory that crickets are not as dumb as they seem, because the things I see them do to get out of the screen feeder, well, they got a lot of time and nothing to do with the time except try every different configuration as to getting out. Also, when one jumps out, it's like they had a plan as to where to jump so I don't catch them. Well, they know to jump, and to jump erratically. That's what they do. Yeah. Let's see. Wayne Beatty says, apparently some mealworm superworms escaped my run cup and have become darklings. He's talking about the black beetles. They don't seem to mind my chameleon too much. Not sure if my dairy cows are still in there, or the springtails. Yeah, the chameleons aren't going to be worried about those beetles. Most chameleons don't like those beetles, but some do. Some do. Jan says, Mikey, Utah coffee was really, really good. Yes, everybody who was there at the meetup, and we met at some darn good coffee. That was the coffee shop we met up at. That was good coffee, especially when we had the special Fog Father drink. I had the Fog Father drink. It was good. So, all right. Everybody, I want to show off my bean beetles. I don't have any chameleons that are small enough to eat bean beetles. But I'm just showing off that I got bean beetles because it took me a while to get these going. I'll keep them going. And there's the smallest baby chameleon who is just the slowest growing. And I'll give him bean beetles until he won't eat them anymore. Sakshimungo says, question for Mikey Ben. Are you the Mikey Ben from the Facebook group Chameleons Canada? Sakshimungo, I believe you have the right Mikey Ben. So if you want to go to the Chameleon Academy live channel, you can hang out with Mikey Ben, the Mikey Ben. Matthew's asking, what is that, Bill? How do you start that off? Are you talking about this? These are bean beetles. And what you do is you get bean beetles and you put in some black-eyed peas, and then you just keep them nice and warm, and they'll eventually create a colony. Yes. Let's see. How is the coffee in Madagascar? Tony C is asking. Oh, Tony C. We should ask James. James, you want to tell Tony C? Because Tony C is coming to Madagascar in January, and we're going to be able to experience Madagascar coffee in January. So I think I want to hear from James because James was somewhat surprised. James loves coffee, and he discovered espresso in Madagascar. Not only espresso, but Madagascar espresso, and that is something to experience. And so, if you're asking me, it's awesome. It's really good, and it's kind of like that good of, oh my goodness, why I wish I could have more, but I probably shouldn't. Hello, Dr. Sean McNeely. Welcome to the show. Very good to see you. So, Miklo's asking, would you or have you ever taxidermied a chameleon, maybe skeleton display? I have not. I've had many opportunities to do that, and that just doesn't excite me. So got no problem with anybody who wants to do it. 2 thumbs up, enjoy yourself, but I won't be going down that road. James says, yeah, watch out for that Madagascar espresso. Oh, yes. Oh, and Tony C, I'm going to be able to show you where you can have coffee, and just watch out for the James Lemurs. We'll call it the James Squad. They're looking for James because they know they could steal his coffee. Oh. Let's see. Carson says, trick on bean beetles. Someone taught me on the Chameleon Academy platform forum. Rub the top of the cup with oil and the bean beetles can't get past it. It'll keep them in the feeder cup. Yeah. Mikey says, yes, he's in Mississauga, Ontario. For those of you who wanted to know where Mikey is from. Now, what I love using the toilet paper roll, because then I can just take the toilet paper roll and bang it around inside of my cup, and I get a bunch of bean beetles in here. So Tony C says Can't wait to have a coffee with lemurs. Oh, Tony, it's a lot of fun. And usually the reason why James got picked on is because he gets up before the rest of before everybody else. And so he was alone. And so the lemurs are a little more gregarious and adventurous and outgoing and confident when there aren't a whole lot of people around. So it all depends. The quality of your adventure will depend on what time you actually get up. If you get up with James, well, then you're going to be sitting there with the lemurs, probably bullying you for your coffee. If you get up a little bit later, then there's enough people, then the lemurs are in the trees. But yeah, it's kind of fun. Chloe wants to see a chameleon. Well, let's see if anybody feels like, you guys want to see if Squishy wants to come out? Squishy's a young Umbanja panther chameleon. Oh, I see Squishy. There's Squishy. Hey, dude. Yeah. Squishy is from a clutch that has decided that it does not want to. I call it the Peter Pan clutch. I have had so many panther chameleons and they just grow like crazy. But this clutch, they do not want to grow. They eat, they poop, they drink, and they look healthy. But look at how small this guy is. So, it's I don't know what to say. I really don't. I've raised so many chameleons. I mean, Squishy's going to be 8 months old now. He should be a young adult. He should be going into adulthood, even a full adult. But nope. Oh, can't tell you. I've got members of this clutch. In all different size cages, all different type of heat, getting a wide variety of food. I've got them out in the California sun, and they're growing slowly. So I don't know, everybody. This clutch is just breaking all of the rules and doing whatever they want. And that's okay because I love baby chameleons. I'll keep them as long as they want to be babies. That's fine with me. All I can tell, they're healthy. Your wife's playing a prank on you, Bill. She swapped you. Sakshi Munga, this is the first time I have ever, in the 45 years I worked with chameleons, I have never seen this before. I have never seen this. It's ridiculous. But yeah, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Oh. See, okay, so for everybody wondering, this is a clutch. It was a clutch laid by a wild-caught female. Weren't sure exactly where she came from, so I was given the babies to raise them up. And these babies, they hatched over like a 2-month period, and so we don't know much about their history at all, except they're maybe Umbanja. And some of the larger ones are starting to show their colors. So, hey, whatever. Let's see. I played with lemurs in my friend's private zoo in Europe, and they're so funny. Yeah, now these are wild lemurs. They are habitualized to humans being around. They'll bounce off of you, but yeah. They're wild. Janet says, look, Squishy has gotten more colorful, but growth he has not. So strange. Love him. Maybe he's there's so many of them. His entire clutch, although the oldest one and largest one is starting to get look like a natural young adult. Female. Yay. Well, they're starting. How are they doing coloring up, Mike? They some of them are starting to color up. Even small, they're starting to color up. Yeah. Joanne says, Squishy, we love you just the way you are. Yeah, we love Squishy the way it is. Oh. Alicia says, Bill, if you ever hatch eggs again, will you please share them? I absolutely loved it last time. Yes. Yes. If I, whenever I have eggs, I will share them with you. I will share the hatching with you. And actually, everybody, last year, August of last year, I had spent the entire 2024 showing everybody my brevicorn egg, Kaluma brevicorn. It's a rare species from Madagascar. They're not rare in Madagascar. They're just rarely seen here. And every show, I would show everybody the eggs. Yep, here they are. Here they are. And it was the funniest thing because it was actually on a show. I brought out the eggs and say, here they are, everybody. And there was movement. And literally on the show, one had hatched. And it was just absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. I go, ah! You can see my reaction because I had checked the eggs earlier that day and there was no hatching. So, it was just, okay, here are the eggs. And yeah, so that was a real fun thing. I will always share with you any eggs that I have that are hatching or not hatching. RC's Chameleon is going to have some embulo about red body blue bar. Should be hatching on the 22nd of this month. Okay. Nancy says, so what species do live birth, or is that not a thing? Oh, Nancy, what a question. All right, everybody, get comfortable for this answer. What species do live birth? All of the Jackson's chameleons do live birth. Elliott's chameleons give live birth. All of the Bradypodian species in South Africa give live birth. Trioceras verneri, Trioceras sternfeldi, Trioceras fuliborni, and let's see if Botaniatus, Trioceras botaniatus gives live birth. Honelli gives live birth. And so, yes, Nancy, there are many species that give live birth. Although most of them do eggs, there are a number of live birth, and they are very cool. Very cool. So, Mike is asking, where did you put spearmint? No more fog release. Oh, well, yes. Everybody is used to seeing spearmint over in that corner. I had to move spearmint. And in fact, spearmint's right there. It's just out of camera range because I had to do the seminar. See, there he is. There he is. Is he up there? He's hiding right now. So, but yeah, I had to do a seminar on Sunday, and I haven't totally cleaned up put my office back to where it should be. We did a seminar on being foster parents for chameleon babies. So, Nancy saying, now, would you say it's the same amount as those that lay eggs? It can be. I've had a female Jackson's chameleon that would give me 50 babies. That was insane. Absolutely insane. And because of that, I actually came up with ways of reducing the amount of babies that I would get from every Jackson's chameleon. Bye, Joanne. Water delivered. Oh, yeah. So, Nancy, a number of the live bearers are actually smaller chameleons, just physically smaller, and so you get 8 to 12 babies. But a Jackson's chameleon is pretty big. So, Sakshimungo says, Bill, when did you actively stop or reduce breeding chameleons, Bill? A year or two ago, maybe. I have been slowly cutting down on the amount of chameleons, and it goes directly with me starting to talk more about small batch breeding. And I have, as of like last year or the year before that, I have decided that I am going to focus on the shamrock chameleons. And so uh, here's the trap that you get into, that I get into. If I breed everything that I can breed, I end up with a whole slew of babies. I can breed right now. I can breed Machacos Hills Jackson's chameleons. I can breed probably okay. I can breed panther chameleons. I can, and of course, shamrock chameleons and the bifidus. And so, actually, I've cut down on the number of pairs that I have available to me. But yeah, if I bred everything that I had, I would be overwhelmed. And I am, as I get further along, I am putting more of a premium on me enjoying it rather than me proving something or hitting milestones or hitting numbers. And so, but Sakchamungru, I am actively right now. I am actively breeding shamrock chameleons and bifidus, and they are challenging. And so I don't run into the danger of having too many babies, at least not now. So Nancy's goal is a panther in the next year or so. Want to be properly educated and prepared. Well, Nancy, you are doing a great coming here. You are going to be prepared. You are going to be prepared. We have a lot of educational resources, ChameleonAcademy.com. And if you really want to get into it, we have a closed campus. But coming here on the live sessions, you're going to get you're going to absorb a lot. Now, and if anybody's getting ready for a Chameleon Academy podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, there's 350 episodes from the last 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years. And if you drive to work, anybody has a commute, just start at episode 1 and just listen on the way to work and on the way back to work. And if you love chameleons, it's a wonderful way to spend, if you're going to be in traffic anyways, it's a wonderful way to spend that time. Mick was asking, what triggered your fascination for chameleons all those years ago? I'm sure it had to be that chameleons were so unique. But I think it's that thing, whenever you have a lifelong obsession, passion, you're really not sure what it was. What is it about chameleons, the lizard, that has me so enthralled that I've wrapped my entire life around it here 45 years later? And so I don't know exactly. I guess that's the real answer to your question. I've just given into it and I've just accepted that that's my life. And so here I am with all of you. All right, everybody, it is coming to the end of the show. I want to thank you very much for being with me here. Next show I will be here is Saturday at 12 noon Pacific. And if you want to hear me go completely off the rails and be disruptive, I am on the Reptile Show Reporter. That's tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific. But that's my friend Sean's show on YouTube. So, all right, all. Oh, wait a minute. We've got another question. Is it possible to tell subspecies of Jacksons in a 4 to 5 month juvenile? Yes, you can. You can start looking at the crest, a little crest at the back, and the Jacksoni have like one spike, whereas the Xantholophus starts to have like a double spike. And if you look really carefully at adult pictures, you can start picking that out. Now, whether they're showing at 4 to 5 months or not depends on how quickly the chameleon is growing, and that's not a sure thing that they are old enough to show that, but that's one way. Look at the spikes at the back. So, all right, everybody. I'll say thank you very much, and I'll see you Saturday or tomorrow, depending upon what you want to do with your life. And so, have a great week. See ya.